Hey guys, Sprouts here, welcome back to the channel. Now guys, in this video, it's going to be tips all beginners need to know for the game. As you know, global is coming, it's on its way. So when you do actually get access to the global version, you're not reading Chinese, you can actually read what everything says. It's going to be handy to know all of these things, trust me on this one, as I've been playing the game for just over a year now. And all of these things I probably wish I knew at the very start. It would have helped us a lot. Now, it's not going to be an advanced guide. I'm not going to tell you how to mod weapons or anything like that. I've done other videos and that sort of thing. This is going to be tips that I think, as an Arena Breakout player and content creator, that you need to actually know about the game before you jump into it thinking it's the same as PUBG Mobile or something like that, because it's completely the opposite of that sort of game. I see a lot of other content creators comparing it to a Battle Royale. It's not a Battle Royale, it's a different genre entirely. It's a hardcore tactical first-person shooter. That's what I would call it. Anyway guys, before we get into the video, if you haven't already liked the video, please do, because it does help me immensely, rather, not amazingly. And make sure you have subscribed to the channel. I'm nearly at 5,000. It's one of them milestones I've been looking forward to. If you can help us reach that, I'll be over the moon. Anyway, guys, we're going to get straight into this. 10 things that you really need to know about Arena Breakout that'll help you play better. Right guys, number one, not number two, number one. Arena Breakout is a hardcore game. Now by this, I mean if you die in a match, you're dead, right? There's no coming back. There's no reviving yourself. If you're in a squad and you get knocked over, you can get revived by your teammates. You're still going to be absolutely riddled with bullets and you're still going to have to heal yourself up and fix your arms and your legs, etc. But essentially, if you die, and say you're on solo and you've got loads of gear, you've lost it, it's gone, you can't respawn on a scavenger, go back to where you died, it'll put you in a different game. It's that hardcore that every decision matters and you need to constantly be aware of everything that's happening around you. I see a lot of people get complacent and they're like, there's gunshots that way, let's go, and then they get killed and they're like, maybe I should have done that. You need to really think about all your decisions when playing this to survive a lot longer. Right guys, if you've never watched any of my videos before, this is number two, you'll not know that literally any bullet in any gun is a one-shot shot to the head. Now, this counts for players in lower scavs, obviously scav bosses. They've got a bit more HP and the headshot won't cut it, you have to probably do it several times. But as a general rule of thumb, any headshot is a kill. However, there is obviously variations. If they've got a helmet on, you hit the helmet and the bullet's not good enough to penetrate through the helmet, it's not going to be one-shot kill, and you do get visors that cover the face, etc. But strictly speaking, from a no helmet, no visor point of view, the bullet will kill. I've done pistol-only runs with the crappiest pistol in the game with really terrible ammo, and I've went around stealthily popping people in the head and then taking their gear. It works. Now, this is something you have to remember a lot, because not so long ago, another content creator was complaining he got one-shotted by somebody. He's like, they're a hacker this, they're a hacker that. They weren't. He was just peeking a wall for a little too long of time and he got headshot and it just went straight through his helmet and straight through his head and killed him in one shot, and there's nothing you can do about it. So just remember, when you're peeking around corners and stuff, or you're standing still, or you're crouched down looting and stuff, just remember how easy it is for people to kill you in one shot and take all your stuff. Right guys, tip number three. This is about armour. Now, when you equip yourself for armour, you've got a head slot and you've got a chest slot. So your head will obviously cover your head, and if you've got a visor, it covers your face. Armour, depending on what type you have, will either cover from your neck down, so like your torso and maybe your shoulders occasionally, and a couple of them cover your groin. Now, arms and legs are not covered by armour. It doesn't matter what type of ammo people use, it'll do full damage to your legs and your arms. So just bear that in mind when you're engaging another player that looks like he's far too high level geared for you. Do not just, let his armour sponge all your bullets. Aim for the legs, aim for the arms, do full damage. You can still kill someone by shooting someone repeatedly in the toe, because there's no armour. It'll gradually whittle the health down. I've been killed loads of times by undergeared players with shotguns going straight for the legs. Just remember that if you ever hear someone say the words leg meter, it's because it's actually true. It happens on Tarkov, it happens on Lost Light. The armor doesn't cover the legs or the arms. You can literally just, you know, lay into them places to take out literally anyone in seconds. Right guys, this is something, tip number 4, a lot of people have asked us, because you can do this on Badlanders and Lost Light, and I think you can on Tarkov as well. There's no insurance in Arena Breakout whatsoever. You can't insure items to then get them back if nobody takes them if you die in a raid. There's only one foolproof way of getting stuff back. So let's say you die and your squad's still alive. If they go to your loot box and they pick up your gear, they'll have a little red orange icon in the corner saying it's your teammate's stuff. If they then extract with that, you'll get it back. That is the only way you can retrieve gear you've lost. If you die by yourself, you've lost everything. If you die and your teammates die, you've lost everything. If they don't escape with it, etc., or they drop it, there's no insurance whatsoever for items in the game as it stands right now. Right guys, number 5, this is something to keep in mind when you are playing. Now, I do a lot of solo runs, or I do duo runs with Dip quite a lot, you'll see in my videos. But I am not queuing for solos and I'm not queuing for duos. The game is squads only. So when we queue with duos or solos, there's always the chance that there's a full squad of people running around. And there's something you have to keep in mind when you do start up playing the game, that just because you're solo doesn't mean everybody else is. They're still going to be in full squads, they're still going to be communicating with each other, you know, flanking you if you shoot one of them. You have to be always constantly aware that if you've just killed this player over there, he may have 3 other teammates in the surrounding area waiting for you to go loot his box to then kill you, save their teammates' gear, and obviously take your gear as well. So just bear in mind, there's no solos, duos, trios, there's only squads on the game right now. And as far as I'm aware, they've got no plans of adding solos. Right guys, when you spawn into a match and you look at your map, you open your map up and you see a red circle. This is tip number 6. The red circle is what's classed as a high loot area. So you'll either have a safe in it or you'll have locked rooms with high value items inside. However, these red circles have got a higher chance of what's called a scav boss spawning. Now obviously there's AI all over the map, and a lot of them are relatively easy to kill. You know, they're like stormtroopers, they don't really have that much accuracy, and you can just shoot them a couple of times or completely ignore them if you're feeling brave and just run straight past. But the scav bosses have borderline aimbots in the will. If they see you head on, just literally lay into you within seconds. They also have 3 to 4 bodyguards around them that are all equally as powerful. Now when you get later into the game, you'll discover blockade mode, and that's like having loads of scav boss guards running around, but that's a different video entirely. However, the scav bosses do spawn these areas, so if you're not kitted for them and you go into them areas, just be prepared to die, because it will happen if you're not prepared for it. There is ways you can sort of like peek corners and take pop shots at them and stuff, but it takes a lot of practice to do that, because they do move around quite a lot. So just remember, when you do go into these areas, they're really hard to take down, and of course they've got good loot, so a lot of other players will be going for them as well, so just be on the lookout. Now guys, when you spawn onto a map, tip number 7, extraction points. When you look at the map, you'll have between 1 and 5 extraction points depending on what map you're on. Some will be red, some will be green, and some will be yellow. Now the red ones you can't use, they're locked for whatever reason. Your current situation that you are right now cannot use that extraction point. Green, go to it, extract. Orange will have some sort of thing that you might be able to. So orange will be like sort of, there's a certain percentage chance that this one will be open, and you'll not know if it's open unless you go to it. A good example of that is on map 3. There's the dam, or the bridge, whatever you want to call it. There's an extraction point in there that's always orange, and it's only open probably 70% of the time when you play that map. So you can go there thinking, oh, there's an extraction point and there's no red smoke. If there's no red smoke, it's closed. If there's red smoke, it's open. Now the red ones will need a certain criteria. There's a couple on farm, need you to drop your backpack. Some need a certain amount of cash, which you can either take into the game with you or find in the game. And some of the other ones are just daft requirements, like you need a dog tag or something like that from another player. So just bear that in mind. Green ones you can just go straight to. Orange ones are maybes, and red will stay red unless you meet the criteria. So if you've got the dog tag or you haven't got a backpack on, you've got the criteria to use it, it will appear green. If not, just don't bother going to red ones. Right guys, tip number 8. Now, scavengers are a thing on the game. AIs, they're everywhere. The NPCs, you know, they shoot you on sight and they're relatively easy to kill. However, every player has access to a scav of their own. And there's not really any indication when you're looking at a scav stand still that it's an AI or a player. However, there's certain traits that either of them do that the other ones can't. Now, so, for example, when you're looking at an NPC scav and he goes like this, or he stretches or something like that, the player scavs can't do that, okay? So if you're watching it for a while, you're not sure, and you see him start to emote, it's an AI. This is for when you're on your scavenger, because obviously AI scavengers will not kill you on your scav unless you shoot them first. Another thing to do that player ones can't do is talk. So if you walk past one, it goes, or whatever it says in Chinese, because I'm not really sure what it says, but you know, it talks to you and looks at you, whatever. It's an AI. Player scavs can't do that. And on the opposite side, player scavs can do all these things that the AIs will not do. For instance, the AIs will only ever have one gun. You'll never see it with 2 or 3 or a pistol or something. They'll have one gun in their hand, and that's the only one they've got. If you see a scavenger with one in the back and one in the hand, it's a player, because only players can pick up 2. Another thing, you'll not catch the NPC scavs looting. So if you see a dead player on the ground or a dead scav, it's a closed box, and you see a scav run up and open it and start, you know, taking stuff out, it's a player. It easily is that to spot them. So that's pretty much it. There's not really anything else I can say, but basically the two things intermix with each other. Some can do one thing and some can do the other thing. If you see someone doing one of these things that doesn't really fit, you can tell them apart. But if it's a fresh spawn scav, player scav, hasn't done anything, he's walking quite straight, there's no way to tell, you might get killed. You just learn it eventually anyway. Right guys, tip number 9, something a lot of people struggle with, especially with it being in Chinese because you can't translate anything. Every debuff you get in the game, be it bleeding, fractured limbs, blackened out limbs, you get shock, I think it is, you get an orange one that says you can't hear properly, stuff like that. All these things can be fixed with items, and they've all got their own corresponding item. For instance, you can use bandages to stop bleeding, obviously, but you also get a big med kit that's got bandages in it. You can click the information on medicine to make sure you know what it does. If you're in shock because you've lost a limb, you can take painkillers, and it negates that effect for the length of the painkillers. And the only way to get rid of the shock is to use a trauma kit to fix the blackened out limbs, etc. So all these things you need to take into consideration depending on what map you're going on. Make sure you've got plenty of stock of all these things. I usually take 4 trauma kits, I take 3 painkillers, I take 2 bandages, and I take loads of meds. Because obviously, even if you're bleeding to death, you can still heal up and blah blah. So just make sure you've got plenty of meds tucked into the game. Because if you're doing more than just a quick in and out, I just need one item or whatever, I would take plenty in case you get shot up. Right guys, tip number 10, last but not least, this is the most important one. You have to just learn to enjoy the game. Now, I die all the time. You'll see in my videos, sometimes I post one where it's been a good run, sometimes I made a stupid mistake and get killed. You're going to get killed repeatedly. Even the top players on the game, the ones with the low ping and stuff, they still die all the time because it's so easily to do so. Now, I've played with a couple of people who they get killed and they're like, oh my god, raging and stuff. It's part of the game. It's not Call of Duty Mobile. No, you haven't just lost rank, unless you're in rank mode, of course. You haven't just lost the tournament or something. It happens. It happens all the time. It's part of the game. It's part of the learning curve to get better. You know, find out what guns you like, what armor you like using, stuff, and just generally enjoy it. If it's not the game for you, I've seen a couple of other content creators that all they do all day is cry about it. I've been killed by this, I got killed by that, it's broken, it's like, if you're not enjoying the game, play something else. It's not for everybody, but it's a very challenging game, and it's a very rewarding game once you start to learn how to play it properly, and you do find that that happy place where I've been killed, but it's kind of my fault. I know what I did wrong. I can improve in the next game. I can take different ammo, etc. So it's just that gradual learning curve, going on the increasingly more difficult maps and modes and stuff, and just getting the full experience out of the game and really enjoying it. So anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. please like it if you have enjoyed it. If you haven't liked it, leave a dislike. And if you are not on the official Discord server, I have linked in the description. Make sure you go ahead and join that. Join my Discord server, follow us on Twitter, all that jazz. But hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing it. And hopefully, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye for now.